Holy crap. Excuse me? Spiders, are you okay? I would have expected animals to be a little more sensitive to ambush, especially ambush animals themselves. Unless, I guess, here in Spider, maybe they're all used to being the top dogs, and so they kind of let their guard down and they don't have too much concern over the likes of little old me just creeping and crawling through their domain here. Fair enough. Ooh, okay, definitely want to backstab you. Oh my gosh. Is anyone in the audience, or anyone out there, a bit more experienced with stealth runs? Is this just how they feel, or am I getting stupidly lucky here, and that's a big part of the overall satisfaction and success? Because I've got to say, definitely feels pretty good when you've taken out half of a floor without a single enemy fighting back. I mean, here we go. Now we've made some noise and we're a bit more with it. I do have 6 curing, so fortunately taking a bit of additional poison damage here, not the end of the world, and we did have some recourse for if and when that went sour. Okay. You, on the other hand, are going to be a problem. That irradiate can hit like a truck, and I don't have the HP to really do a good job of dealing with it. Are you normal speed? I never remember where I'm supposed to look for the speed stat. Okay, I think if they're the same speed as me, it doesn't show up. That's something that I'm still getting used to here. The trick is to not mention how well you're doing. Oh no. Oh no, it's too late for us then. We've screwed ourselves over, hoisted by our own petard and all that good stuff. Your limited experience with stealth is that it starts off like this, and you need alternative later. It used to be throwing blowguns, and that might still be a thing. I mean, throwing is just super strong regardless, and if you spend, you know, all the early run just caching a huge supply of throwing ammunition with 32 boomerangs, that's pretty solid. Then I could definitely see that working. I think darts fall off though. Saying high throwing and those paralyzed darts were widely powerful. You could stun and backstab basically anything. Yeah, I'm curious about that now. I feel like it must have fallen off a bit. Okay, 50% chance to paralyze the rad spider. Or rad roach. Maybe. Start with some blind, and then I'm willing to waste a charge just to ensure some limited amount of survival on our part. But nice. But that makes sense though, Fawn. I mean, definitely it was part of my understanding that you want that swap later. That's mostly on my end, coming from experience with less so the stabbing side of things and more so just short blades in general. You kind of need a game plan for the future. Again, unless you're worshipping Uskaya, and then just have fun and you'll be fine. But I think the part of it that gets me for the moment here is I didn't realize quite how good stealth was at this stage in the game. I thought it would already be almost impossible to get any stabs, and that we'd just be struggling constantly against the enemies waking up in front of us, but has not been the case so far. Hell yeah, even Donald. Get absolutely steamrolled, my foully friend. And not too shabby. Yeah, like Hellords, Panlords, no idea if it's still that effective. Been having luck with a trope on your early mid-game null right now. Okay, nice. Yeah, I feel like Atropa, Datura, all those kind of auxiliary darts I find very little use cases for, or I just haven't really experimented with on my own. Kirari, of course, is just pretty universally solid, I feel. But it is interesting to note for sure. And then yeah, for the Hellords and Panlords, I feel like trying to just cross your fingers and hope you get the backstab off on them is pretty low, high risk, low reward, I guess. But again, that's where I'll give another one of my constant repeating record shoutouts to Skya, because there's nothing quite like grand finale weird way to conjugate that word. There's nothing quite like using Grand Finale to just end every single Panlord you find. It's one of the more satisfying experiences I've had the pleasure to encounter in the game, for sure. But 27 throwing, 27 stealth used to be shockingly high paralyzed dart odds, even on the endgame lords. Oh, wow. I imagine that got nerfed. Maybe not, though. Maybe it's a rare enough strategy that it doesn't receive enough attention to really be a focal point to be addressed. But I couldn't tell you. I mean, throwing at 27, no matter what you're throwing, you're probably dealing a pretty decent chunk of change. So I think something is to be said for that regardless. Even boomerangs are probably good enough to take out a Panlord at the end of the day. As long as you got the throwing arm to back it up. When you're launching boomerangs at MLB speeds, I mean, it's hard to imagine anything taking that to the skull and surviving to tell the tale, at least not without significant impacts to their general brain faculties. Another approach, not sure how good it is for Kobold though, is ally builds. You can catch distraction stabs. It might require stronger melee characters since distraction stabs aren't as strong. Yeah, I think early on, Dan Brandy was mentioning the idea of using Hepliaquana on a stabber character. And again, if we had already, or rather if we had not already gotten a victory with Hep, that being, I think, potentially the first victory of this series, because we kind of started the polytheist attempts based on the fact that I'd never really tried Hep and thought it sounded like fun. But that was definitely something that made sense to me because, yeah, you get those distraction stabs. Definitely not quite as strong, and I think you end up in a bit of an interesting spot for sure, where, okay. I think decent clouds all across the board there, actually. Love to see it. Ooh, Emperor Scorpion, I have some concerns about, for sure. Let's actually double check. 40 on you, plus 30, so 70, 90. I mean, we're at 92 health, so don't know what you want from me, game. Get wrecked. Oh, we do have the demonic crawler next to me as well that I was not giving the time of day, so that was potentially an oversight, but we're fine. Fantastic. Oh me, oh my. But yeah, so I'm curious, distraction stabs, I feel like you'd need to keep a dagger in order to maximize the multiplier on the stab damage. So that's something where, like, at least if enemies are completely paralyzed or unconscious, then sure, you're dealing less damage with a rapier stab than you would be with a dagger. But at those magnitudes, does it really matter? Like, everything's dying in one shot, so sure, if you want to be fully optimal, then that makes a certain amount of sense, but generally is not the be-all end-all for your success. That's why usually on those Usukai runs that I mentioned, I usually end up transitioning to a rapier or even any kind of fast attacking long blade would even do the trick. Either a good dagger or a stronger species using like a quick blade or something. Yeah, quick blades aren't bad either, right? I feel like it's dagger, quick blade, short sword, rapier, everything else. I don't know exactly how the math works. I don't pretend to understand these things. I just know the sound they make when they take a man's life. Speaking of quick blades, well, howdy do. Quick blade of electrocution, eh? I mean, the damage rating is just so bad. 8 to 20 electric damage is pretty huge if we get lucky. Quarter chance, though, even on the attack delay at max here, is not great. Like, we attack faster with my Rapier of Speed. And if we look at it, like damage rating of 7 versus 14, so double damage consistently versus every once in a while you get the nice shock. Especially by the time you get to Zot and everything doesn't give a hoot about electric damage. Kind of plays differently. So I don't think I'm going to worry too much about that. In fact, I'll probably just take the money here Don't love the staff or the ring that's being offered, so let's just hope for another requirement scroll to potentially give us the business there. And for now, we'll sit as is. Fantastic. Ooh, Ghost Moth. See, now there's another enemy that it just feels good to backstab. I've had so many runs that have struggled immensely to deal with them. Sometimes you just need a good, clean sweep to make it all right again. Fantastic. All right, let's give ourselves just a moment here to bonk the mic, as is always the case. Pretty much anytime I grab my drink, it's like an electrocution brand. 1 in 4 chance that I bonk the mic like an absolute fool. But okie dokie, let's wrap up on this spider's nest, shall we? Maybe. Awfully presumptuous of me to assume that we'll have no problems here, but it's definitely been going pretty well so far, better than I could have possibly expected, and so I'm desperately hoping against hope that that's a trend that continues to be prevalent as we go into the final floor of the area here. Unfortunately, people are already waking up a bit more than I would like, but that's not the end of the world. Hey, Zool. You tricky son of a gun. I mean, I was tempted. Maybe I should have sacked of spiders to give them a taste of their own medicine, as it were. I'm also kind of in a bad spot. I should not have backed myself into this corner. Probably, in fact, should have just gone for the stairs. Sure, everything's faster than me, and I could have taken some nasty scrapes and bruises just to get here, but probably would have been something to be said for it. So we have a couple options as far as I'm concerned. We could teleport. Hope we land somewhere not too bad. We could also, the far extreme of using consumables would be to fear, step out, then blink, and then run for the stairs and hope that that gets us there. But I think we can potentially fight this. So if I turn tree, it gives me the AC to actually take some of these hits to the chest here. Sleep is quite bad. And if that hits me, I might die. In fact, is this smite? This is probably smite targeted, right? But taking damage will typically wake me. So maybe we're okay. I'm going to try it out. For better or for worse. I'm going to turn myself into a tree. I'm going to cure off the poison. Still have a chance to be poisoned even well in tree form, but it's at a reduced rate. And then, do you know what? Maybe we just blind you kids a little bit. The one thing that made this acceptable in my mind is that we have a decent number of heal wounds potions. So even if things start to look a little dire, I think we just start chugging these sons of guns back. Okay, going up to 62 health is maybe not quite the smashing job that I was thinking. We have a lot of negativity resistance, so Death Scarab shouldn't be a big deal. Though again, the game is doing a great job of proving me wrong there. Appreciate it. What else can we do here? I could just try to paralyze you, and then we could actually, while you're paralyzed in front of me, let's drink some ambrosia. Hell yeah, brother. Okay, we are slowed. Do I go tree form again? Do I continue my last stand, or is this where we need to potentially rethink our decisions in life? I mean, right, I can actually shadow step out of here. Because I can shadow step just behind, nothing personnel kit, teleports behind you, then blink up and at him. Still will have a rampaging slew of spiders after me, and I am slowed, I guess is the other part of that equation. So, I think we hold our ground. Stand together. Hold. Hold. Okay, I have my cold resistance on. That is very bueno. Okay, 9% chance of paralysis is not great against you. Let's sack of spiders. Then we'll get some distracted stabs, potentially, if we're lucky. Or not at all. Maybe. Okay, Azul. I get it. I respect you and everything you stand for, and I apologize if anything I said or did made you feel less than spectacular and stellar about your performance, but, you know, just trying to be honest. Provide productive, honest feedback. I mean, there's honestly just a shortage of honest feedback here in the dungeon. Ever since Zot took over, everyone's a yes man. And so here I come in trying to shake things up, make sure you have a bit of a better understanding of everyone around you, and what do I get for it? Attempts at my life, petty attempts at that, if I'm being completely honest. Might as well throw some shade on there. Deserved or not. Ready to be made to eat those words. Give me a couple more stabs, please. Yes. Hell yeah, brother. Take out the scarier targets at the very least. Ooh. Spoke too soon. So, we find ourselves once again in a similar scenario and setup here. I could go tree mode, because that essentially reduces the amount of damage these kiddos will do to a very manageable number. 24% chance to hit me with my 30 evasion. I mean, it's not bad for us. 51% chance to paralyze you if things start to go poorly. I mean, we have a lot of paralysis charges, and they're going to be useless late game. So let's lose 4 coin flips in a row. Perfect. And then that at least does the trick. Boomerang you, my friend. And not too shabby, all things considered. You know what, let's actually switch to stabbing here. If these sons of guns start getting berserked, I'm actually probably in quite a serious amount of danger. So I'd like to kill you. Ghost Moth died. The Moth of Wrath did not. We lig early. Truce. And then at least it would wear off potentially by the time we get a little too worn down. Condenser Vein just came back up. Condenser Vein, who dis? Where the heck is the Moth of Wrath? Maybe I did... Oh, spoke too soon. Oh, speak of the devil. Well, hey, a bit of rage to finish things off. Don't mind if I do. We're not quite in enough of a corridor to guarantee that orbs hit walls, but still decent odds as it tries to thread the needle. Okay, spoke a little bit too soon, but end of fight, I'm okay with that. Not the end of the world, as it were. Holy moly. Well, the last little bit of spider definitely got a bit interesting, but up until then, things were sitting pretty and honkadory, really. You know what? These are at least equal or better than my current boots, so we will swap them out. Thank you kindly. And that's the rune. I mean, do we bother with the rest of the floor? I feel like we almost shouldn't. I feel like I might get myself killed if I try to explore the rest of the area versus if we just leave. Why, hello there, friends. Come one, come all. To the death apex here. Nice little corridor where plenty of your friends and family have met their unfortunate demise, but fret not, you could still join them. Enter this simple promo code, and you can be entered to win death. Woohoo. Okay, well, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let's just grab our rune and get out of here, right? What's the point of having stealth if we don't use it a little bit? But holy moly, we are 2 runes in. Things have been pretty swell. Of course, we're just hitting the plateau, followed by a potential drastic downhill slope, which is, even that is just a positive way of saying the imminent cliff that approaches us in terms of the difficulty of the run. But I still have some faith in our ability to get through, and I'm tempted, very much so, to see if I can't get a little fancy with Zot in particular. I'm curious, in Zot 5, if I try my best to just sneak past everything, and when I do get in a fight, can I just go shadow form? Taking half damage, immune to a bunch of the scary parts of being down there. I'm not sure which equipment items it absorbs or I guess transforms with me, because we may have some considerations that need to be taken in regards to willpower and making sure we don't get paralyzed while in shadow form. But otherwise, like, can you just run through? That seems a bit optimistic, and likely I'm not going to go quite that far, but I'll at least think about it. Well, I'm in the highs of mid-game stealth character that is currently just backstabbing everything and wrecking house, so let me live in my deluded optimism for the time being here, and that can all come crashing and burning when we come back to the run later on. That sounds like a good solid plan to me. But speaking of the plan, as well as coming back to the run later, I think this is where we'll call it for the evening. Again, we're in a nice spot here. We'll be heading into vaults, followed by depths. Third rune might be Abyss. Abyss might be our best bet. Stealth is very strong in Abyss, as far as I understand it, just because avoiding fights becomes pretty paramount there. And, you know, if you're able to just breeze on through until you find the rune, and even that potentially bypass a certain amount of the dangers that it holds, then we'll be sitting pretty. Definitely the tantamount experience when it comes to free runes. That was a heck of a spider indeed. It was so smooth sailing until the final floor. So it's nice, you know, it gives us a little bit of that reality check, a little bit, a smidge, a taster, an aperitif, if you will, of the anti-hubris effects that we desperately needed to get, because between Shoals and Spider going that smoothly, I was losing my grasp on what is real in this life, because I'm used to just struggling my poor little heart out and driving myself crazy getting through those. But hey, I'm sure we'll pay the piper as time goes on. Potentially this might be a character that does go a little bit deeper into all the different sections. I'm looking at Elf here. I'm looking at, I mean, it's not up yet, but Crypt as we go through vaults. We have a lot of negativity resistance. We'll do pretty well in there. We even have anti-torment if we need to with shadow form, so definitely lends itself to a potential success story. And we might want to do that just to round off all of our skills, bring us up to speed, and transition from this kind of early mid-game stabber into something with a bit more oomph, a bit more staying power for those later stages in the game. But hey, I guess all of that will have to wait for next time when we come back to it. And we see how it goes. We end up throwing away any plans we could have possibly tried to bring to the table at first contact with the enemy, as is so often the case. Anti-hubris aperitif. Now there's a tongue twister. Definitely has a certain je ne sais quoi about it. but okie dokie. I feel like I'm tempted to ramble on. I'm tempted to just push through with how well that went. But unfortunately, I think for my own mental sanity, I should stop here in order to get the other things I need to get done tonight. Finish before the start of the week. Maybe actually get some sleep for once tonight, because that's something that I've been sacrificing pretty consistently for the past... It's funny, my brain was going to say a week, and I was like, oh, more like 2. Instead of 2 weeks, more like a month. I feel like for the last 3 months, I haven't really slept that well. In fact, now that I think, and so on and so forth, until, is it like a year that I've been just actively choosing sleep is the thing to sacrifice, because I just want more hours in my day. If you, you know the button where you are given a hypothetical, and it's like, would you press this button? If the button says that I could get only 4 hours of sleep a day and feel fully rested 100%, it would take a lot for me not to push that button. I feel like you could stack up the other side of the hypothetical with pretty terrible things, and my brain would still be like, you're adding a lot of time to your days. Think about all the things you could learn. Think about all the things you could get done. I could take up hobbies. I could stream more. That's a big part of it as well. But hey, unfortunately, no genies have come to offer me that yet. We'll see at some point in the future when I inevitably get monkey's pawed into accepting that and then realizing that, I don't know, my brain is literally and metaphorically on fire that 4 hours. I don't know how they could twist it. That's not quite as clever as a monkey's paw situation usually is. It's a bit more of a brunt force approach, but regardless, I'm sure you understand kind of what I'm going for there. And we'll see. Fingers crossed. One day I'll get betrayed by a wish-granting entity of some sort. I'm not going to be picky about it. I'll accept all comers, really. Just give me the sweet, sweet, sleepless deal, if at all possible. I want to be an elf. Just meditate 4 hours a day and be spell slots restored, baby. Good to go. But, of course, I had a super fun time with this run this evening. I hope you all did as well. As always, I do appreciate each and every one of you for joining us on the journey. If you're chatting alongside us here, if you're lurking in the background, or hey, if you're watching this later down the road through the Twitch VODs or YouTube, then thank you for joining, and I do hope that you're enjoying the endeavor as much as I am piloting it, because it's definitely been a fun one on my side. But thank you, and yeah, I think we'll be back next week. There's a small chance, with just how busy the upcoming week is, that I might need to postpone. If so, I'll probably cancel it on my schedule. I don't know if anyone really uses or pays attention to that on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, you just might not see videos a week after that for a few days, but we'll see. I don't pretend to understand any of the machinations of my own brain, much less try to schedule around the insanity that is constantly being projected against the cave walls up in there. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll be back at it, though. Hopefully we can finish off with Skrock. Could use a win. It's been a nice little while. Fun runs for sure. So I never mind losing a fun run. At the end of the day, you learn a little something, try to apply some amount of retrospective planning to it to think about what to change for the future. Inevitably will be forgotten and thrown out when that time comes to prove that I've learned from those mistakes. But regardless, always a good time. But I'm hoping that this is a good one. Skrock, you're one of the good ones. You've so far managed to survive my D&D campaign, and so I hope desperately that you manage to survive here too. Skrock. But I guess all that being said, let us end this off, as we often do, by taking a peek at who we can send a raid off to here. On the Twitch sides of things, maybe, just maybe... Oh, we went up to 3 hours today. I thought this was going to be a much shorter one. I was planning to cut it down even below my usual minimum of 2 hours, but it's tough when you're just having fun. It's hard to stop the bus when you're partying on it, I guess. That's why they call them party buses. But it does look like Brinth is currently on, and Brinth is playing System Shock, which I haven't seen that in a long time. But regardless, would definitely recommend sticking around, saying hello. Brinth is always a fantastic time and a great community over there. So hey, join us for the raid. And yeah, of course, no problem for the stream. Have a good night. You as well, Robo. And to everyone out there, I hope you all have a fantastic night. I'm kind of preempting myself. This is part of my outro. What am I doing? Let's start the raid here. And then we can get to that in a moment, because I definitely want to wish you all a lovely time. So I guess we'll, no, we're unable to do that at this time. You okay, Twitch? You okay there, buddy? There we go. We're okay. But yes, I hope, again, you all had a good time. Enjoyed our rambling over linguistics, speech pathology, and tongue twisters. And I had way too much confidence going into those tongue twisters. I still think that was probably a top 3, if not singularly top performance in regards to me attempting to do 5 Irish wristwatches in a row. So, hey, let me know what you think. Let me know how you did and all that good stuff. Of course, regardless of all that, my incessant rambling here, I do hope that you're having a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you, and I definitely hope to see you again later when we come back with Skrok and maybe, just maybe, make it through on this one in one piece. No promises. Next week will be when the pedal hits the metal, as they say, and we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, but I hope it goes well, because remember folks, we never, even for a moment, even despite breezing our way through multiple zones to have a hard time in Spider, we never didn't have it. I'll see you soon.